Hi guys, welcome to Let's Build a Computer. Well guys, as you can see, I got a lot of parts here laying on the bench, and I figured it was time to build a new supercomputer here for the shop. Now, nothing wrong with the other Asus computer that I've recently upgraded, but I wanted to build something that was a quite bit faster for doing video editing here. Now, you know, I got a computer in the house that I bought that's a gaming computer, and it does real good. Nothing wrong with it, but I wanted to build something that's a little more faster, and with the stuff that I have here, this will be the fastest computer that I own at this time. So let's take a look at everything we got. So starting with the first item we got here, this is the Asus, this ROG Strix. It's the Z490E gaming motherboard. I'll go ahead and tell you that there's several items I bought secondhand, and the only reason I bought these secondhand because the guy that had them is a friend of mine, and he's into helicopter simulations. And this was the motherboard out of his computer, and he upgraded. So he sold me the motherboard, the processor, the memory, the graphics card, and the power supply that he had. And everything else he upgraded to kind of a very expensive computer. But anyway, I got the whole deal here at a good price. So here we can see our motherboard. It has the G-Skill RGB RAM in it. These are 16 megabyte sticks, so we got a total of 32 megabytes. The CPU is a Intel Core i7. It's 10th generation, 8 core, 16 thread, 3.8 gigahertz CPU that's in this. 3 of the slots. The first slot here is where we'll put our VGA card. It can hold 2 solid state drives on the board, the M.2s. If one will go under here, and there's one place for it to one fit under here. So our next item is our video card. This is the XFX Speedster Quick 308, the Radeon RX 6600 XT Black, and that's a pretty super nice video card. And one good thing about these type of video cards, you've got 4 ports on the back, 3 of them are video ports and 1 HDMI port. This is the next item. This is the EVGA 700BR. This is a 700 watt power supply. So as you can see, there's the information from the power supply. Like I say, it's the EVGA 700BR 700 watt power supply. And it has all the cabling that you would need. Your PCI-E cables. It should have 2 of those on here for your different graphics cards. Now again, the power supply and the video card and the motherboard with the RAM and CPU all came from my buddy at a very good deal. I got the Hyper 212 Spectrum V3 CPU cooler. I'm going to be using this for right now. I am going to upgrade this to a water cooled unit. We have the Crucial This is the M.2 solid state drive. This is 500 gigabytes. Now, I don't run but 500 gigabytes in all my machines due to I run external drives that I can switch around from different computers. But this is just to load the you know, your base software for your platform on like Windows or whatever. Windows 10 on a stick. This is Windows 10 Pro. I bought this some time back and put it on a flash drive. I bought another tube of the MX-4 thermal compound because I use this stuff a lot, especially in some Xbox video consoles that I repair. You know, I always replace the thermal grease, and usually any computer that comes in that I work on, always, you know, change out the thermal grease on it because this stuff don't last forever. So what do we got that we're going to put all this in? Okay, so we got the Musetics. This is the TW8 computer case. It is a gaming case. Comes with 6 fans. Has one door that is glass, and the other side is just a metal shield. Let me get this out of the box. Alright, so here's our Musitech case. As you can see, there's 3 fans in the front, and why? The reason I selected this case is because of airflow. Now, a lot of cases you see, you know, doesn't have that much airflow with it, usually around the sides. This has got on the side, but this whole front is a mesh. On the top of it, this is a removable filter that comes out. We have a power button, a reset button, 2 USB 3.0s, headphone, microphone jack. I'll go ahead and remove the plastic from the side of the case. So you can see we got this little ring here. It's kind of like what you would see that you put on the back of a cell phone. It just flips out. Then you can open the case, or open the door, and the door comes off from these hinges here. So we'll take this and set this out of our way. But you can see this is where our power supply goes. And here on the bottom we got all our cabling for the fans and the controls up front. We have a exhaust fan here in the back, and there's 2 more fans up in the top. So this, like I said, this case has plenty of airflow in it, and that's one reason why I selected this case. Turn it around, you got 2 thumb screws that we can remove, and this side of the case comes right off. Now here on this side you got several, there's 3 slots to mount the bigger solid state drives if you want to use them. There's a spot down here to mount a couple of 3.5 inch hard drives. There's our cabling, and you see the cabling is routed pretty nice inside this machine. On the bottom there is another filter that comes out. And the front also comes off, as you can see. Now this case is designed, if you're going to go water cooled, you can put a upper horizontal radiator here, or you can put a radiator in the front. This is cut out, so a full-size radiator will fit in the front of this case. Alright, so the first thing I want to do is go ahead and get the power supply installed. And this will slide right in from the side. And the last one for the power supply. And whatever you do, do not over tighten those screws, because it's only going through thin metal and you can pull the threads right out of it. So now you can see we got all our cables hanging out here, and I'm hoping that cable management, we got several slots here that we can go through with a cable, so I believe we'll be able to keep our cabling managed pretty good. Plus they've got these Velcro strips in here to help manage your cables. So I know it's going to be a little bit harder to see, but this case is designed to hold mini boards, medium boards, and the large board like we have. Now there's already some standoffs in here to hold the motherboard. I think that's 6 in here, but we got spaces over here for larger motherboards. Now what I like the way they did, they have on here for the micro ATX is marked with a M, the ITX is marked with an I, and the full size ATX is marked with an A. So besides all these holes, you'll see those letters put beside it. Like this has an A down here, so that's for the full size ATX. So we'll have to populate these 3 holes with standoffs. Like I said, before we mount our motherboard, we got to get our CPU cooler mount installed. Has a fan on it. Okay, that's all our hardware. There's our cooler and our fan. Now, I don't know how many times I've seen or heard about this, people installing the coolers and the CPUs are running hot or not cooling like it should. And one of the biggest things I've seen, they leave this on and forget to take it off when they mount their cooler. Now you got this layer of plastic in between the CPU and your cooler, so you need to make sure that is removed. So that's our bottom mount. You see we got several different types of brackets. This even comes with thermal grease, and these are the brackets that hold the fan onto the CPU cooler. There are 2 screws. I'm just verifying that these fit the motherboard. Got 2 screws out. Alright, so what we need to do now is mount our mounts onto our CPU cooler. And it goes on the top side of it, and your screw goes in from the bottom. Alright, that's that one in place. Get my screw started on here. There we go. Now this should line up with those 4 pegs at the bottom. Okay, now this is just a dry fit. We're not going to leave it like this. I just wanted to get everything on here lined up. Make sure we're going to be up on that CPU like we should be. You can see our mount here in the back. We can find out which way we're going to put our fan on. And the instructions showing it on the side of the RAM. Okay, so I'm actually going to have to mount the fan on this side, and there's no problem with mounting it on the other side. It's just that on this side, there's just not enough space between the RAM and the cooler itself, and I'm scared that you know, it's pushing on this RAM a little hard with it sitting over there. So it's just going to blow the air. It's going to pull in from this side and blow it this side, which is actually going to blow it straight out, because this is the back of the computer. So that's going to blow it straight out the back of the chassis anyway. And you can see there's a little small fan here that keeps this heat sink cool, and that's not in the way at all. So yeah, that should be just fine. Okay, but since we got the CPU cooler mounted and we see all our clearances is fine, we can go ahead and remove this and put the motherboard in. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 standoffs. So this is the way how we know if our standoffs is right, and we'll put them in the right way. If we can install 9 screws, and it looks like those are going to line up just fine. Yep, I see no problems with that at all. Okay, there we have it all. Motherboard is all installed, and before I put the CPU in or the graphics card, I gotta go ahead and wire this thing up and get all the cable management done. And I'll just show you that after I get it done. I see no need of sitting here and letting y'all watch me run wires and figure out where all they go. Alright guys, all the wiring is done with the exception of this cable here. This is for the RGB control. Now the motherboard tells me the pinout of the control. The cable has this little notch in the back of it that will go up against a little standoff on the back of the connector to orientate it which way it plugs in. However, there's no standoff on the back of this connector, so I'm not sure, and there's nothing in the case instructions giving me the pinout of this, so I'm gonna have to figure that out. But I've got the power connected. That was no problem, but the control, it doesn't give me the information I need. Now the only thing I need to do is mount the fan and put the GPU in. I'm not going to put the drive in yet, because I want to do a power up and make sure everything posts and works the way it's supposed to before we start putting media into this thing. So let's see, our CPU fan plugs in right down here, so we need to put this in this way. There's also RGB power on this. And yes, I removed the plastic tag from the bottom of the cooler, and I'll put our thermal paste on there, so there shouldn't be no problems there. And then we can plug in the RGB cable in this top jack. I'll get our GPU here. We're going to use slot 1, and we'll mount that into slot 1. But first thing we got to do is take these covers off the back. Alright, and that clicked in place. Let me go ahead and get the screws back in this. Okay guys, everything's hooked up. Got the keyboard and mouse hooked up. We're hooked up to HDMI on the monitor. Now when I turn this on, if everything goes well, it should post and we should see something on the monitor over there. Now the lights in the case fan are going to come on, but I don't have power for the fans connected yet, so I got to work on that. But I really just want to see, to start with, if this thing is even going to boot up. So we'll turn the power supply switch on and cross your fingers, and hopefully everything will be right. CPU fans running. Oh, there we go. Yep, and we're into our BIOS utility. Right now temperature on the CPU is 25 degrees C, and it seems to be holding right there. So at the moment everything looks good. So I got to work on getting these fans to come on. I got to figure out how I can get the power, because like I say, I'm not sure of that connector down there on which way it needs to be plugged in, and we don't want to plug it in the wrong way and stress anything. So let me work through that. I'm going to have to pull the GPU back out so we can put the solid state drive in, and then we should be able to load some MIDI on this thing and get this thing up and going. Okay, as you can see, all 6 of the chassis fans is running, along with the CPU cooler fan and the fans on the bottom of the GPU are now running also. So what it was, there was actually a chassis fan connector down here in the bottom that I had to plug this other cable into. It was not this other pin out or connector down here by the diagnostic indicator. So that's up and going, and you can see everything that's on the screen right now. The only thing we need to do is get some get the solid state drive installed and load some software on this thing. So again, to do that, I'm going to have to remove the GPU. There's some shielding in place that's got to come up so we can get to the area to mount the solid state drive. Okay, so as y'all can see, cable management wasn't too bad at all. This connector here don't look like it's plugged in good, but it is. I don't like the way some of these connectors are. You can actually see the metal pins. Right here. Not that they're going to touch anything, you know, it's like the bottom of the circuit board here. You can see the metal pins there, but You know, it's stuff like that that you have to pay attention to make sure nothing can hit those and short out against them. So there's plenty of room down here in the front for all these extra cables for SATA and old style connectors for the drives. Plenty of room to get them down there tucked in out of the way. But yeah, I like to go back and put some electrical tape, just, you know, one wrap around it, just to make sure that this can't touch anything, you know, so nothing shorts out. Alright, so again, we got to remove all this. I'll go ahead and unplug the GPU. Let me take this little upper holder out. This thing is made so you can put a vertical board that goes in, and then there's other expansion slots so you can lay boards in here this way. That's the way this case is designed. And there we go. So you can see here we got these shields. There's 3 screws in them. And this heat sink should come right up. Well, not actually a heat sink, it's just a plastic shield. And we'll set that aside. And then this is where our solid state drive goes. So we'll loosen up these 2 screws. Now this is actually a heat sink. And now we can pull that out. Let me set it up here so I don't knock it off. And this is our solid state drive. You can see it has a little screw in there. Let me get this over the desk. Okay, depending on the length of your solid state drive, you notice there's 4 standoffs down here that are very short. Now, down here on the end is a bigger standoff. You'll have to figure out which one you need to put this in. So what you do, you just put this into the slot. Now, I know a lot of you already know how to do this, but there is a bunch of older people out there that's never seen solid state drives. And actually the standoff is not in here, so let me see if I can find the standoff. I sure hope I got some of them. Okay, well, I took the shield off the M.2 slot, and there's our standoff right here. So we can use this one over on that one, and I only put those in finger tight. I do not wrench down on them. So this screw is kind of small, so I'm going to put a magnet on my screwdriver. There we go. Now I can put this shield back in place. And we can put our cover back on. There we go. Alright guys, we said we try to load some software. Monitor's green. We'll put our Windows 10 media in a drive. Power switch is on in the back. And let's see if this thing will go right ahead and boot from the USB. Got a cursor flashing. Oh, Windows logo. Alrighty, so it booted from the USB. Everything looks correct there. And we're going to say install. Now this is going to take some time. And let me go ahead and put my product key in. Okay, product key entered. We're going to accept the license term. We'll hit next. We'll do a custom install. We're going to let Windows do all the drive setting up. And there we go. Okay, now it's ready for us to set it up. Okay, we're connected. So again, this is going to take a while. And through these parts, I'm going to just speed up. Okay guys, there we go. Windows is installed. Now this monitor is crap. You can see the image doesn't even fit the screen. But that'll be okay because this is just a test monitor. I have another monitor that's going to go with this machine. So one might ask, buddy, what did this cost you to build this new machine? Well, like I said, the motherboard, the CPU, 32 gigabytes of RAM, the power supply, and the GPU or graphics card. I gave $300 for that. The case, the CPU cooler, and the 500 gigabyte drive was $160. So that's a total of $460 in this machine, and that was all that was spent to build this machine. $460. Now I do have the copy of Windows, but the funny thing is, and you might be wondering why I put Windows 10 Pro in here. Well, that's because at the time when I bought this, it was I think 11 had just come out, and I went online and I purchased Windows 10 Pro because I was going to upgrade my home computer that's in the house, the one I use to pay my bills and stuff on. But I ended up having to replace that machine. It was more than just the hard drive going out, so I didn't ever use this copy of Windows 10 Pro. But I don't know, it was 150 bucks or so, something like that at the time when I bought it. So the thing about it, I can put that on 3 machines, so I'm not going to put the price into this machine for the Windows install. Alright, so there we go, guys. Our new souped up shop computer is all built, ready to go, and as you see, want nothing to it. Very, very clean install on this. So this build went a lot better than I thought, and I do need to do some tidying up on some cables that I can see inside, but I'll work on that and get this thing put into place so we can start using it. Well, guys, you can see the new computer is set up over there on the right hand side of the workbench for time being, and I've got all the equipment, all the cams connected to it, and you can see there's 2 monitors up there in the ceiling, and we're running OSB Studio on it, and this is the setup I will be using for all the recording coming forth, you know, in the shop here. Now this video, I mean, it's bad to say, but it's actually been in the making for about 2 months. Since the beginning of this video that you saw to now has been about 2 months, and one of the things I was looking at doing is it's time to do some rearranging here in this part of the shop. It's just gotten too full with stuff, and I need to move some stuff out and make room to do some other things in here. But I will say, this computer, man, that thing is just fantastic. It runs OSB Studio with no problems whatsoever. I mean, it is just it's amazing the difference that I have running this computer versus my old computer. I can hook 5 cameras up to it. That's the max that I've tested with, and there's no lag, there's no issues with USB ports. It just runs on. You can see the wireless mics hanging right here on the cable, and they're connected to the computer, so I can use them with no problem and get some pretty good audio out of it. So with the computer sitting there, I got enough cabling to connect all the cameras up, and you know, this has always been my main shooting area for videos right here, and you know, I'm just working in that little L shape, and when I'm there working, it's hard to get cameras, especially this camera that I'm using right this minute. It's hard to get it over to the other side for shots. So what I'm planning on doing is tearing all this out. I mean, the benches are going to stay, but I'm going to be rearranging all this equipment, you know, and the workbench in this area is an L-shaped workbench, and it goes right on the round. I got the foldable leaf here where I have my Yazoo station at, that has now became my ham shack per se, and I'm going to be moving it out, and we'll be getting on over here and tearing all this out and redoing it. So I think what it is, my main workbench is going to eventually be centralized here in this area. I'm going to start doing all my filming from that side. This way I can have cameras on both sides, better access to the computer to be able to take all the shots and stuff. So yeah, it's been a long time coming, but I had planned to already have this done, but with just so much stuff coming up, it's just been too busy to get anything done. So yes, I will say that the new computer build is a success. It's doing everything plus more than what I wanted. So I think I came out smelling like a rose on this deal. So, and it was fun to build. So there you go. Alright guys, that's it for now, and we'll catch you in the next video. Bye now.